Washington, this is VOA News. I'm Steve Norman reporting. President Trump Sunday said he's hopeful this newfound relationship with Chinese President Xi Jinping will result in lessening tensions with North Korea over its missile and nuclear programs.
You can never be sure of anything, can you? But I developed a very good relationship. I don't think they want to see a destabilized North Korea. I don't think they want to see it. They certainly don't want to see nuclear on, from their neighbor, and they haven't liked it for a long time. But we'll have to see what happens. The relationship I have with China, it's been already acclaimed as being something very special, something very different than we've ever had.
White House National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster told Fox News Sunday both Pyongyang's nuclear and missile programs pose a grave threat.
Because developing the nuclear capability has to be matched to a delivery system. So it is this sixth nuclear test is what it would be, combined with the ballistic missile program that poses a grave threat to the United States and our citizens, as well as our friends and partners in the region.
Latest North Korean missile test came after U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson warned the UN Security Council of what he called catastrophic consequences if the international community does not pressure Pyongyang into ending its nuclear and missile programs. Tunisian security forces say they have killed a senior commander of the Islamist group Al-Qaeda and the Islamic Maghreb, who detonated a suicide belt as he was shot. Another militant also killed during a raid aimed at preventing the group from carrying out attacks during the holy month of Ramadan. This is VOA News. President Trump, in his outreach to Asian countries over the North Korean threat, spoke with the Prime Minister of Singapore and Thailand. He also spoke with Philippines President Rodrigo Duterte. White House Chief of Staff Reince Priebus defends the phone call despite growing concerns about alleged rights abuses by Mr. Duterte's government and its war on illicit drugs.
It doesn't mean that human rights don't matter, but what it does mean is that the issues facing us developing out of North Korea are so serious that we need cooperation at some level with as many partners in the area as we can get to make sure that we have our ducks in a row, so that if something does happen in North Korea, that we have everyone in line backing up a plan of action that may need to be put together by partners in the area.
President Trump invited each of the Asian leaders to visit the White House. Just weeks before his visit, he visits Washington. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan said U.S. support for Turkish militia operating in northern Syria must come to an end.
Ne yazık ki bu konvoylarda her iki ülke bayraklarının ülke edemeyeceğim.
Mr. Erdoğan, speaking on a visit to India, said he is seriously saddened by the presence of U.S. and Kurdish flags and convoys. He promised to raise the matter in the meeting May 16th with President Trump. Meantime, the U.S.-backed Syrian Democratic Forces, which included both Kurdish and Arab militias, reportedly seized several neighborhoods in the Islamic State-controlled Tabqa near the Euphrates River and about 40 kilometers southeast of the de facto IS capital of Raqqa. Last week, Turkish warplanes struck Kurdish positions in Syria. Pope Francis has appealed for an end to violence in Venezuela that has left nearly 30 dead in anti-government clashes in the last month.
Non cessano di giungere drammatiche notizie
Francis appealed to the government that is President Nicolás Maduro, and what he called all components of society to avoid violence, respect human rights, and negotiate their disputes. He decried what he called the grave humanitarian, social, political, and economic crisis that is exhausting the Venezuelan people. Embattled Maduro has ordered a 60% wage increase in the country's minimum wage, counter-protests being planned for today. Severe weather across the southern United States has killed at least 9 people. Dozens others are injured, coming from tornadoes, falling trees, and flooding. Hardest hit states include Texas, Missouri, and Arkansas.
That's the latest world news from VOA.